Hello, friends. This is Deepak, Tax Code Advisor. I have some good news and some updates for you, especially if you are a realtor in the state of Texas. So I want to talk to you, but before I get there, I wanted to kind of go back over some of these topics regarding entity creation. And there's a reason I want to bring that up. So oftentimes when people come to us to set up an entity, whether it's for LLC, S-Corp, C-Corp, whatever, um, we usually recommend that we get an attorney involved. And don't worry, you don't have to go spend thousands of dollars. We work with an attorney that gives us very, very good rates to work with us because we give them so much business. And we pass that discount on to you, of course. So we give you one flat price to work that out. And we do that because we want to make sure it's done right. And a lot of firms don't do that. A lot of firms, you go there and they will just give you, S Corp, C Corp, or LLC, or sometimes even clients do it on their own. And I see a problem with that because oftentimes, even though your entity might be registered with the state and it might be even good standing with the state, but you might be missing a lot of things such as operating agreement, you might be missing membership certificates, you might be missing stock certificates, you might be missing meeting minutes, you might be missing advisory board. I can go on and on. There are a lot of other requirements that allows you to properly leverage your corporation or your company to take advantage of various tax strategies that are out there. But oftentimes they are not done properly. And sometimes you need to have some clause to better protect yourself and work with your partners and other people out there. And those clauses are often missing as well. So I think this new update that I'm going to share with you regarding real estate is a great example of that, and see how one silly mistake can actually cost you or kind of not mess things up a little bit. Let's put it that way. Okay. So let's go back to the real estate. Now, what's happening? So what happens is right now, well, I shouldn't say right now, as of last year, if you were a realtor, you could not get a compensation from your broker under your company name. You had to get that under your name. Now, if you're working with our firm, you probably already know we work with you to somehow strategically move that compensation into a company. So for most of you guys, we still set up a company anyway. But it's kind of like a back door. We have to go around it, move things around to make that work properly. Once again, the reason is to take advantage of certain tax strategies. And we're not going to go into those details right now. But I want you to understand what was happening until today. Now, those of you guys who were not doing that already, maybe you're working with other firms or maybe you're trying to do your taxes on your own, there's a good chance you're paying more money in taxes. Okay. So this year, and by the way, if let's just say if you did have an entity registered, that comes with a lot of extra headache anyway. For example, you had to have errors and omissions insurance on that. You have to have a designated broker, all that kind of good stuff. So there were a lot of other requirements that you had to have on top of that. But starting this year, 2024, Texas Real Estate Commission has issued a clear guidelines that your entity, if you're a realtor, your entity can receive compensation on behalf of the license holder. So if you're a license holder, you have that real estate license, you can receive compensation under that LLC. Now, similar problem exists for insurance agents, but there is no solution for that yet. So you still have to register the company with the insurance department and go through all the steps. So they kind of see you as your company, still kind of separate. But at least for real estate, this makes it life very, very easy. So a couple of things here. Number one thing is, remember that member certificates I talked about? 95% of people who walk into our office with an LLC that they have created themselves or even created by other tax firms are missing the member certificate. It doesn't even exist. So imagine if you had that, even the Texas Real Estate Commission would not accept that LLC as valid LLC for this purpose. So who is valid in the eyes of TRAC? LLCs and S corporations used for registrations must be at least 51% owned by the license holder on whose behalf the entity receives compensation. So let's say you and your wife or your husband, you set up a company and you guys say, let's set up a company 50-50. Guess what? That doesn't work. You know, whoever is the license holder, whoever is have that real estate license, that person needs to be 51% owner in that company in order for you to receive compensation under that entity name. So does that mean that business entity broker licenses are going away? So you have an individual license and then you have a business broker license. So are they going away? No. You will still have the option to keep a business entity broker license, which you should do if you intend to do anything more than accept compensation. So that's the key word here. And I'm giving you this information directly from Trek website. So if you can go there and read it yourself. So if you're planning on getting anything more than compensation, then you still need to get a broker entity license. Okay. Now there are benefits to holding a business entity broker license versus registration, such as the ability to use the name of entity to advertise, or as a party in a listing or buyer representation agreements. So keep that in mind. So in those agreements, you still got to use the business entity broker license, which probably your broker already has. That's why you're using their name. And if you want to advertise, once again, you got to use your broker name for that as well. But if you're just collecting commission, that you can do under your entity name. Now, I wish that also happens for our insurance agents, but so far that has not happened. Okay, so what kind of entities can you create? The track is saying that you can create LLC and S-Corps, so they are eligible for registration. Which one is better for you? I cannot advise you that until I get to know you, understand your situation, your income, what else is you going on in life. So give us a call, set up a consultation appointment, and we can talk about that, and then we can figure out what might be uh, a good step for you. Should we go LLC or should we go S-Corp? Does Track require you to name the LLC or S Corp in certain way? No. So Track does not have any kind of requirements about setting up a name. That's up to you. They don't really care about that. How do you register it? What do you need to do? Process is online, very simple. All you need to do is you will need to provide supporting documents to establish the business entity type is eligible for registration. And remember, I already talked about that's LLC and S-Corp. And second is that you own at least 51% of that business entity. So as long as you have those two, you're good to go. And that brings me up to my important point that I was talking about earlier. So now what they're saying is that, hey, provide us some documentation. And that's what happens. So, and this is one example of it, but there are a lot of other examples of it, right? Where you need to provide documentation. So does your LLC have that documentation? If maybe you're not a realtor, maybe you are just a investor, maybe you own some real estate under your company name. Does that company have proper documentations? So it's an important thing to think about. So let's focus on realtors for now. So documents, copy of certificate of formation or certificate of amendments filed with the Texas Secretary of State. This is something you get when you set up your company to begin with. Okay. So they require that. And then you need to give them an evidence that you own at least 51% of that LLC. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to prove that you own 51% of that LLC? You can do that. It could be company resolution. It could be your K1 that shows that you're the at least 51% owner. So any of those can actually work for you. Now, what other things you can do that can show that you have at least 51% ownership? So some of the other ideas could be stock certificates that you should have if you already have a company. Stock ledger, you should have that. Meeting minutes, if you're not doing it, that's a problematic on its own. Corporate resolutions, and like I said, IRS K1. And if you already have a company, you probably already know what that is. That kind of shows how much income you're getting out of that company. So I hope this kind of gets a bell ringing in your head, especially those of you guys who are not real estate agents and you're thinking about doing this. Now, like I said, I wish it was happening for the insurance agents as well, but it's not, at least not yet. I hope Department of Insurance does something similar where insurance agents can also have this. That would be very, very nice. So that way they don't have to go through that back door for moving their compensation around to take advantage of all the tax strategies that we offer here at the Tax Code Advisors. So once again, thank you so much for staying with me. If you are a small business, I would request you to join my small business advisory group. You can learn all, you get all the various updates. You can follow me on WhatsApp. So those of you guys who use WhatsApp, just follow me. That's where I post all the updates. So that makes it a little bit easier for you to follow. We also do financial market outlooks. We take a look at our economy. We take a look at all the news, and we try to make some sense out of it, and maybe give you a different perspective to how to look at those things, so you can make some better decisions. I try to compare what's happening right now with what had happened in the past, and that way you kind of get, it kind of gives you a rear view mirror as well as the front view mirror, so you can kind of compare those two and make some better decisions. So a lot of value for you guys. So I invite you to join those meetings to get to know us better and see what we can do to help you out. If you are a business owner, definitely reach out to us and get to know us. We would definitely love to know you guys. We love all the realtors, insurance agents out there, all the side hustlers, people working on startups, starting new companies. You guys are awesome. You guys would make America great. So thank you so much for staying with us, and I look forward to seeing you at one of those meetings.